Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 306 of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, your host. Obviously, like I've said for the past 306 episodes. Anyway, today I want to talk about an area of detailing that doesn't get a lot of love. So, obviously, if you go on any of the Facebook groups or anything like that, a lot of love is, a lot of emphasis is focused on the exterior of the car. Paint correction, paint decontamination, iron removals, all that, and that, 50-50 shots, and that's awesome and great. And that is really the sexier side of this detailing world, the final exterior shots. But one area of detailing that you don't see a lot of, that is actually in my world of detailing very, very important, is the interiors. And every time I release an episode on interior detailing, I always get some of the higher download numbers. In the past, we've had Scott Perkin on the show from Scotch's Shine Shop up in Canada. So he's been on a couple times to talk about interiors. So if you are interested in a little bit more in-depth on exactly how to on interior detailing, I would definitely suggest going to autodetailingpodcast.com and searching up those Scott Perkin episodes. But today what I want to talk about is interior detailing tools and tricks and little hacks that I use to really get the interiors of cars looking really nice and clean. So I'm going to have a section of like what I would consider necessities, kind of stuff that, and these are just tools and tips that I use and have worked well for me in my experience. I'm sure like when I talk about other products and stuff like that, I always end up missing something. But so I'm going to break this episode up into two sections. And really the first section is going to be kind of the bare necessities. Bare necessities, those simple bare necessities. Forget about your troubles and your strife. Anyway, and then the second section, I'm going to talk about kind of those optional tools, the tools that you don't have to have initially or have to ever have, but the tools that make your life a lot easier, a little bit more efficient, and could really help you get better results. So the first tool we're going to be talking about is a liquid. So you really want to have in my opinion, a strong all-purpose cleaner. Hi, bud. Have fun on the bike. Sorry, I'm recording this podcast as life is happening. Anyway, a strong all-purpose cleaner. So one that can be diluted down to different ratios depending on what you need it for. So if you're going to be working on a heavier, a dirtier interior, you're going to want to, play with that ratio. But really you want an interior all-purpose cleaner. Now, do you need a dedicated interior cleaner or with an all-purpose cleaner? I always err on the side of an all-purpose cleaner because hence the name all-purpose. One, for example, that I'm really liking right now would be by Billy Bogus and his F-Bomb. Again, what I really like about it is that it can be diluted down to different ratios depending on what you're using it for. So if you're using it on a leather seat that's completely a mess, you may dilute it one way. If you are using it on a leather seat that just is sensitive and only has a light soiling, you may adjust accordingly. Same with the different vinyls and plastics around the car. And that's it seems to me like that F-Bomb, and obviously this isn't an ad for F-Bomb, but products similar to that. Again, that's why I go for an all-purpose cleaner, because in cars, there's all these different surfaces, and I, as a business, don't want to carry around dedicated cleaners for every single, a plastic cleaner, a vinyl cleaner, a leather cleaner, because, as we know, sure, leather seats are great if they were real leather, but most of the time they're vinyl, and then even at that, they're clear coated vinyl. So really, when you're looking at a leather seat, it's not that much different from the plastic and vinyl around the rest of the interior of the car. Should definitely be taking proper precaution with leather, because you can wear through the clear coat, wear through the vinyl, and actually start removing some of the dye that's on the vinyl. So that's where you want to be careful. Where plastics may be a little bit more forgiving with an all-purpose cleaner. But the basis of your interior detailing arsenal should start around with a really quality all-purpose cleaner. Meguiar's, I don't particularly care for their all-purpose cleaner, but their super degreaser works very well. And now there could be a whole argument on degreasers versus all-purpose cleaners and versus leather cleaners. I'm going to save that for a different day, because at the end of the day, I just feel like those have a, from my very limited knowledge of chemical manufacturing, but from what I've heard from other people, those 3 different types or different labeled products actually are a little bit more common than we're led to believe. So, though I just said all that about the interior vinyls, plastics, all the different interior surfaces that an APC can handle, I still would have a dedicated leather cleaner and leather conditioner, just for those situations that you may come across when you just, put it this way, the leather seats in the car aren't that bad. You can get away with just using a leather cleaner. Hi, Bubba. I can see you right there. There you go. Sorry, again, life happening. So I still would have a dedicated leather cleaner for those if you do happen to come across a raw leather seat or a natural grain seat, something like a King Ranch seat or something along those lines, where an APC would be very harmful to the seat. Again, just to have that dedicated leather cleaner. And of course, you're going to want a leather conditioner. Now, leather conditioners come in different consistencies, different shines, different thicknesses. And so I always prefer, when I'm detailing a car, my general rule with them is I want to get the interior of the car back to factory condition, right? So when I'm looking at a dedicated leather conditioner, I never want something that is too shiny. So, for example, I tested out Adam's new leather conditioner. It's a super thick cream. In my opinion, for my preference, though it could be knocked down a little bit, it's really thick and it's too slippery and shiny. So, though it can be knocked down like most other products that are thicker and can be a little too shiny when you first apply, I prefer a sprayable leather conditioner. I sprayed into an applicator and then rub it onto the surface. So definitely have a dedicated leather cleaner and leather conditioner. I was just thinking of another item that we need in regards to, because when you put a conditioner, again, it's just protecting the seat. We could go into that whole argument of it's just clear coated vinyl, therefore it doesn't really need a conditioner. Fair, but in my experience, I have seen a softening of the. I almost feel weird calling it leather. I have noticed a softening of the leather or vinyl or whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to call it leather because that's what everyone else currently calls it. So I have, with a nice conditioner, like a Dr. Beasley's, I believe their leather conditioners are a little bit more matte. And all around, I just like Dr. Beasley's marketing and packaging anyway. But they have a whole leather kind of regimen that is very nice, that I enjoy. Along the same lines of adding a protection, while we're here about talking about protection on the interior, you're going to want also a Scotch Guard-esque type product for floor mats, carpeting, stuff like that as well. Whether it's literally Scotch Guard or it's an interior coating, I guess an interior coating would be like Scotch Guard on steroids. Having that and applying that to a customer's car, especially if you're maintaining that customer's car, is going to be a huge time saver for you in the future once you already clean it, or hopefully you get that car when it's brand new. And if it's your own car, I would highly suggest adding protection onto the carpeting and stuff like that to save you time. I would have for the plastic and vinyls and all the other surfaces other than the seats, I do currently stock 2 different vinyl protectants. So one will be more of that glossy protectant, and the other one is more of a matte protectant. And why do I stock these 2? Again, my personal preference when I'm detailing a customer's car, or even for my own personal car, is to get that matte satin finish. I don't want the dash and door panels to look dried out at all. I want them to look nourished and healthy, but I don't want it to be a gloss factory inside. And a lot of times with gloss, and especially high gloss, which I used to really be into, of having as much shine as possible on the dashboard, it's also a dust attractor too. So whether it's your own personal car that you're taking care of, that you really want to extend the life of that detail or the time that you spent detailing your car, or you're detailing a customer's car, you don't want that you want that customer to feel like their detail lasted a long time. So if you're putting a really high gloss dressing on the interior, that's going to be attracting dust because everything's going to be sticking to it. The perception to the customer is that detail isn't as good, right? Because it got dirtier faster. So one matte finish product that I really like. Let me take a sip of water here. The downsides of doing solo podcast. You got to keep talking. Anyway, so from a detailer standpoint, if I were to recommend an interior matte or satin finish, this is where I get a little unconventional. I would actually use a spray wax on the interior. Now that wouldn't be super popular, I bet, but if you think about the properties of a spray wax, they're protecting the clear coat of your paint, right? Not a lot of protection, but a little bit. But they're also, and it is to add a little shine and depth to your paint, but not a ton, right? Not something like a paste wax or whatever, or an interior dressing. So I would go for something like a Meguiar's Synthetic Express spray wax, or any other spray wax that you offer. And obviously, because you're not using it, you're using it for off-label uses, try it in an inconspicuous area. One other, because I got that care package for episode 300, so I've actually been trying out a lot of Adam's products, but their interior detailer or any other company's interior detailer. Now, I feel like I may just be ignorant, but I feel like that's a little niche that's kind of come out, is these interior detailers similar to exterior detailers. I may have just been completely naive to them in general, but I've tried a few interior detailers, and those are phenomenal. I really like those. Again, some will add a little bit more gloss than others, but when you compare it to an interior dressing or a product dedicated or named as an interior dressing, the interior detailers, or sometimes called like a quick interior detailer, those are my favorite, even to finish on. A lot of times we'll get that last little bit of dust and lint that kind of kicks up when you're working on the interior. But if you're looking to thin down your amount of products that you carry with you, the Meguiar's Express spray wax would be perfect. And then the only reason I have a glossy protectant is for those times when I either feel like the customer or would want it. So in communicating with the customer, which I feel like I need to go back and do another episode about how important communication is with your customers and setting proper expectations. I've been having some phenomenal conversations with detailers around that, and just how important, in fact, I'm going to make a note of it in my notes to do, we're going to have a podcast episode about customer communication. It is customer communication, just to break off on a tangent. Customer communication is the lifeblood of your business. In this episode for interior detailing, I'm really trying to keep it kind of consumer friendly or DIYer friendly, driveway detailer friendly, and also professional. But I will do maybe an in-betweener as I'm driving around sometime this week on customer communication. It's just, seriously, guys, like, know how to detail, that's great. But if your communication skills suck, I mean, it can go downhill really, really fast. So anyway, back to protectants for not only the ground or the carpeting and floor mats and stuff, but also for the plastic and vinyl trims. And to apply those protectants onto the interior of the car, you're really going to want applicators, microfiber towels. You're going to want a slew of them. So similar, I would compare like interior cleaning of your car to have the same mindset as you would when cleaning really intricate rims and barrels and wheel wells. You want to have a multitude of tools and products and really unconventional stuff to get the job done efficiently. So applicators, you may be asking, what size applicator, what kind of applicator. In my opinion, always is for interior detailing specifically, the more tools you have, the better. Now, that's very contrary to what I say for my approach to detailing in general. I really like as few amount of products and as few amount of tools to get any job done. But for the interior, this is one area that I really will hold on to a multitude of tools, a multitude of brushes, which we're going to get into in a little bit, and a multitude of applicators, simply because interiors are so intricate and you never know where or what you're going to come across on an interior and have to reach. Same with microfiber towels. So what I love to do is you can either start with Costco towels, right? Or what works really, really well, because most times interiors are super nasty, use your old towels that you used to like remove wax with or remove coating with, or your old rim towels, or just your old towels in general. Switch those into interior towels. And really, I love the idea of, and I think the Sanding Blocks by Jason Kilmer, he also has that punch-out pad for pads. And I love that idea of, instead of buying, again, this is getting off on another tangent, but instead of buying a dedicated 3-inch pad brand new, why not use your old 5 or 6-inch pad and cut it down, right? And then repurpose and kind of wear down the tools until there really is nothing left, right? So interior towels, because you're really not worried about how much they absorb or really anything like that. You're either using to apply something or wipe away something or add a leather conditioner or buff down the conditioner. So really, I like a slew of microfiber towels as well from the interior, and I just kind of graduate my towels down to interior towels or door panel towels, or basically when like they're towels that if I'm using them for the last time, I'm good with. So like I can do a super dirty wheel well or a super dirty interior, and if I'm looking at that towel and it just looks disgusting and beat, I'm good. I'm throwing it out. I'm not even going to worry about it because I've gotten so many uses out of that towel before I even had retired it to an interior towel. Now, here are two more things that no one really ever talks about, especially when it comes to interior detailing. So we're really getting into the thick of it here. And that is two protective measures. One is a mask and one is gloves. Now, I am really bad at both of these things, and really bad at making sure I have these things on, but they're really important, guys. We're talking about the interior of someone's car. This is we've seen on Facebook the most disgusting interiors, and so people sometimes get their interiors confused with porta potties or the inside of their house or what the inside of their house may look like. They eat in it. Sometimes it's people's office. Sometimes it's, their bedroom. Who knows what goes on the inside of people's cars? Therefore, as the detailer or as shoot, you may be going like, I don't even know what's going on inside my wife's car, the minivan with the kids, right? You don't know how long that, McDonald's hamburger has been underneath that back seat. Or like one time I wasn't called out for this, but I found, years and years and years of, it was years and years old, dog barf underneath this lady's driver's side seat from her dog. She didn't even know it was there. So a lot of times as you're cleaning out the interior, you're sticking your hands into places that you can't see, and you never know what's going to come on the outside, on the other side of that. Hopefully it's not a needle or something that pricks you or cuts you to where you start bleeding or any risk like that. However, you want to make sure that you're taking proper precautions when dealing with the nastiness of interiors. And that's one thing. I know I never really talk about safety equipment on the podcast, especially dealing with, chemicals on the exterior of your car. I can get a little lax on it, but it's really been brought to my attention lately to maybe even more important than exterior. I think it's all important when we should protect ourselves from chemicals and stuff like that. But really when it pertains to interior cleaning, and yes, the chemicals can be harmful that we're using, but even more than that, protecting ourselves from whatever may be lying in the interior. Now, I'm not going to go into simply because I don't have any experience, and I'd love to have someone on the podcast for hazmat cleanup. If you or anyone you know has anything to do with interior hazmat cleaning, please put me in contact with them. I would love to interview them. In fact, there's one guy in Vegas. I'm friends with him on Facebook. I can't remember his name. If that's you, if you're in Vegas and you do hazmat cleaning on interiors of cars, please, or that person, please contact me. I want to meet up at SEMA, or I'll come to your shop or whatever when I'm in Vegas first week in November. I want to do an episode on that. I think that could be a huge, it's very unfortunate for situations that happens in cars, but I feel like that is a really big area of revenue that potential detailers might be involved in. So anyway, stuff happens in people's cars, and you never know what has happened. So mask, gloves, maybe even eye protection, clear glasses, just really, really take care of yourself. I can't stress that importance enough. I don't really like wearing gloves, especially when it's hot out. My hands start to sweat, but it's super important. And then when you're using a dressing, if it's a greasier dressing, then your hands are all greasy. I'm a huge fan. I could probably do a whole episode on gloves and why I have a love-hate relationship with gloves and detailing cars. Couldn't take another sip of water. All right. Now I saved this one. This is the last of the necessities section that I talked about. And this is brushes. So I may have left something else out. If I have, please comment in the Facebook post that adjoins this episode. I definitely want to leave this open-ended. These are just top tools that I have thought about, but trust me, this is not the end-all be-all list. So please, if there's any tools that you haven't heard after you get done listening to the whole episode, that's all I ask. Listen to the whole episode and then give me your advice on tools. So brushes, hands down, will be, well, in this section at least, hands down the most important tool of your interior detailing efforts, regardless if you're a professional detailer doing this for a living or making side money, or you are a DIYer doing it in your garage. A multitude of brushes, and this is where my philosophy of less is more completely goes out the window, because, again, there are so many intricate sections of interiors of cars and so many different surfaces that you're going to come across, and stuff is going to react differently. Even if you have a great APC, even if you have a great interior protectant or a matte fat satin finish, whatever, even if you have all that stuff, brushes, cleaning brushes, because you have the gas pedal, brake pedal, that other foot resting pedal. You have crevices up by where the pedals go into the back of the dash. You have cracks and crevices in the center console, in the dashboard themselves, the steering wheel, the buttons on the steering wheel, the buttons behind the steering wheel, the air vents. So I love having a plethora of long handle, short handle, stiff bristle, toothbrushes, Q-tips. Here's a good one. Makeup brushes. Now, I have the benefit that my wife is a makeup artist, so if some brushes go missing from her kit, But again, I take that same philosophy, interior detailing, so I'll ask for brushes that she's about to throw away. And the thing I like about makeup brushes is they're meant for people's faces, to apply makeup to people's faces. So they're very soft and gentle. So when a lot of times if you're working on, areas around wood grain, clear-coated wood grain that's very soft and gentle, an old car that you need to be very delicate with, makeup brushes are phenomenal. And another great thing about makeup brushes, they can be expensive, but another great thing is if you go look at the sizes and differences, or just on Amazon even, of makeup brushes, wow, they have all kinds of shapes, sizes, thicknesses, plushnesses. So really, honestly, you could probably ditch all of your quote-unquote dedicated detailing brushes and just go with makeup brushes. Again, going to be more expensive, but just a plethora of shapes and sizes that they offer in the makeup category according to brushes. Shoot, you don't even need high-end makeup brushes. You could go to like the drugstore, CVS or whatever, and just get like the cheap house brand ones and just look at the plethora of shapes and sizes, because you never know what you're going to come across on an interior, regardless of how dirty it is. Just there's small areas to reach. There's all that. I just thought of another one. You're going to need a vacuum. That is a necessity. And in fact, I'll try to link up the vacuum I use on here. It's just a rigid vac. I tried the Metro Vac and Blow and absolutely hated it. For me, their vacuum, because it came with a bag and the bag would fill up and then it wouldn't suction as well. It was super expensive. And then you got to buy those replacement bags. The hose broke on me. The nozzles were breaking on me. It really wasn't meant, at least in my opinion, wasn't meant for a high volume operation. Maybe if you have it on the wall and you only use it every so often, it'd be fine. I do love the Metro Mac and Blow blower, the car dryer. I do want one of those. Those are right around $400. And the marketing director from Metro Vac and Blow never called me back. So if you know him, have him hit me up. All right, moving along. So you're going to need a vacuum. Makeup brushes, guys, honestly, just like think when it comes to brushes, think outside the box. There's been, like dishwashing pads that I've used for even like leather conditioner application, like the sponge pads, Brillo pads for, where everyone kicks on the door, I'm forgetting the name. Not the door panel, but yeah, the door panel too, and the door rail where everyone kicks their feet getting out. That's when you're going to want an aggressive, Brillo pad style thing. Aggressive compound will also work there as well on plastic. I did a few pictures about that a long time ago, but the point being, just think outside the box. Don't just go to the detail supply store and pick whatever brushes they offer. I would suggest going to the grocery store and looking at what brushes they have there as well. I can't tell you how many times I've just walked down the grocery store aisle, the cleaning aisle. I have this weird obsession where no matter where I am, if it's Target or Walmart or wherever, I always like to go through the cleaning sections, whether that's like the car cleaning section or the house cleaning section, because there's always something I find to use out of its normal uses. And I love that. So I would make it a long time ago. I remember I did a podcast episode about walking around Home Depot or a hardware store just to see what they have, just to see what's out there, because it opens your mind to creative things. And then I can't tell you how many times I've cruised around Home Depot or the grocery store, saw something like a brush, picked it up because I'm like, in like this maybe 1 or 2 use case it'd be perfect. I end up picking it up and use it like the very next day. So again, just have a plethora of brushes. And another it is a brush or can be a stone, but a pet hair removal brush. I prefer the brush over the stone simply because the stone, when you come in contact with plastics, and a lot of times the carpeting will butt up with like the seat rails, and the seat rails at the base will have a piece of plastic. The pet stone will scratch that plastic or any plastic that it comes in contact with. Also with the stone on like some of the backs of Jeeps, the far backs of the cars still have like, it's plastic, but it's like plated in chrome. You're going to scratch the crap out of that with a stone, not so much with a plastic brush. Paint brushes are also, I would put paint brushes kind of in the same category as makeup brushes. That was another drink of water. I would put paint brushes in the same category as makeup brushes. Again, different thicknesses, different types of fibers on the ends of the brushes, all kinds of stuff. So one thing I would suggest with any of these brushes, makeup brushes, paint brushes, dedicated detailing brushes, if there's metal anywhere around that brush, just put a quick piece of duct tape or any type of tape around that metal. Just again, you don't want to create any more work for yourself. So we got the vacuum, multitude of brushes. We talked about a dedicated leather cleaner, leather conditioner, all-purpose cleaner, something like a Scotch guard, a matte or satin protectant. All right, satin protectant, glossy protectant applicators, reuse your microfiber towels, mask, gloves, glasses. So those I would really consider to be the essentials when it comes to interior detailing. Now, there's some optional tools that will make your life incredibly easy or a lot easier. So you get one of those just terrible, nasty interiors and all you got is a plethora of brushes, a good all-purpose cleaner, and some protectant. Hey, you're going to be able to get the job done. It just may take you a really long time. So let's talk about a few products that will make your life easier. First one being, and this is by far, if you get any of these, this is the one I would look at. Well, I'll talk about one other one that I would definitely have. Let's just talk about that one first. So the most inexpensive one would be a headlamp or a handheld light for interiors. This is going to help you see underneath the seats before you stick your hand in there. This is going to help you see to make sure everything is clean when you're all done. This is really going to help you. So that would be the most ideal. After that one, that may even be a necessity, to be honest. After that, I would definitely look at a steamer. Now, there's the McCullough steamer that's around $150, and then there's the VX 5000. Is it VX 5000 or VX 1000? Whatever it is, the VX 5000, I think it is. I better look that up. I think it's the VX 5000. The VX 5000 steamer. That right now, let's see, there's one around $800. There's another one around, so just call it between $700 and $900. Amazon has one. Let's see how much that one on Amazon. It's just over $800 on Amazon. Comes with a ton of attachments. It's way more if you want the cart and everything. It's like over $1,000, but comes with a lot of attachments. Anyway, I just thought of another additional tool that's optional. So a steamer, again, if you're on a budget, I would definitely check out the McCullough steamer. I'll have everything linked up. McCullough is MCCULLOCH. Again, don't know if I'm even saying that right. $140 with Prime. That at least is going to get you in the door to steaming. Steamers are going to be huge for those little cracks and crevices, help you loosen up stains. Again, just huge. Another one that a lot of guys have are extractors. I personally haven't used an extractor in a couple years because my steamer and my vacuum do enough of the heavy lifting that I've never even, literally haven't even turned my extractor on. And every time I had an extractor, I just constantly had issues with it. So you're going to be in I can't even think of the extractor that I have. Let me see, car detailing extractor. let's see if I could find the one. Okay, so yeah, there it is. The Mighty Light 2 carpet extractor. Again, going to be right between that $800 to $1,000 range. Again, look on Craigslist for all this stuff. Offer up. Think outside the box. But it's going to be in that $800 to $1,000 range for the carpet extractor. If you're looking between one or the other, I personally would err on the side of the steamer. Has a lot more uses. An extractor, you're not going to be able to get those cracks between the shifter on the center console. A steamer is going to help you clean that up without very much effort. So for those reasons, that example and a lot more, a steamer is just a lot more versatile. So for that reason, I would go for a steamer over an extractor. In an ideal world, you have both, but you definitely don't need to have both. An air compressor would be ideal for interiors as an optional tool. Again, you don't have to have it. If you have a vacuum, you could just usually plug your hose into the backside of the vacuum and it'll blow instead of suck. So your vacuum has a not very good, but does have a blower on it. Metro also has a handheld blower to dry the exterior of your car that you can use on the interior if you don't have a air compressor with you. If you do decide to get the air compressor, I would look at the Tornador. Again, I place the steamer above all these other accessories, but I've heard good, extremely good, and extremely bad stuff about Tornadors. Me personally, I don't carry an air compressor with me, therefore I don't have a Tornador, because the Tornador is powered by electricity and air. Needs a lot of air. I heard that's one of the downfalls to it. I heard it just sucks all the air out of the room or out of your compressor. So if you didn't want to do either one of those, drill attachments for a corded drill. I've seen some guys do this on a cordless drill and have the attachments. I mean, you're just going to constantly be running out of battery. So to me, it seems silly to hook up basically it's a stiff bristle brush that attaches to your drill, and it'll help, again, loosen up those stains, act like a brush, but instead of you using your arm power, it's going to use the power associated with the tool. If you're going to do that, I would definitely invest in a corded drill, which I have as well as my cordless drills for emblem removal. So a cordless drill for emblem removal just doesn't work. You just start burning through batteries, and then that gets frustrating. So I would definitely invest in a corded drill if you're going to do the drill attachments. And an optional tool, and this is kind of the last tool that I'm going to be talking about, but it's kind of how I've started to roll with stuff like emblem removal or interiors or exterior stuff, is I can compartmentalize everything, and then it has its own dedicated either bucket or bin. So a lot of us have a dedicated bucket or bin for microfiber towels. I would suggest having an interior dedicated bucket. If you go to Home Depot, you can get a 5-gallon bucket. And you could search even Amazon for bucket organizers. Let me see, 5-gallon bucket organizers. Let me see. There's a slew of them on Craigslist. Going to be from $15 to $50, or maybe a little less. $15 to $30, $10 to $30. How about that? Ooh, nice one for 17, all black. So they're obviously going to be made for like the general contracting fields, and so you're going to see tools in them and stuff like that. But think about how much easier and more organized you can be if you have a dedicated bucket for interior. So every time you go to a car that is getting an interior detail, you know that regardless of what's going on the inside of that car, you can pretty much handle it with your interior detailing bucket organizer. You just pick up that bucket, pop it on the outside of the car, and then you probably don't have everything because you're not going to put the steamer in the middle of a bucket. But you're going to have most everything you need right there on the bucket organizer to get that detail handled. And again, a lot of these optional tools towards the end are definitely necessities, or could be considered necessities. I'm sure there's tools that I completely forgot about. But there you go, guys. That was actually, I'm really in love with that bucket organizer. So I would highly recommend it. I do it for like all the specialty stuff I do. So like headlight restoration has its own bin. So if I'm going to go do a headlight restoration, everything is in the same bin. If I'm going to go do a emblem removal, boom, I can grab my emblem removal box, and I'm good to go. Because some of this stuff you don't use on a day-to-day basis. Now, interior detailing tools you're definitely going to use, but emblem removal you may not be doing every single day. So therefore, I personally don't carry it with me every single day, but do when I'm going to go do the job, and it's very easy to pull that bin. So those tools, guys, hopefully that really helps you. Hopefully you got some value out of this episode for interiors. They're usually always a hit. If you have any tools that I forgot about, let me know in the Facebook post that adjoins this episode. You can find that at facebook.com/autodetailingpodcast or on my personal pages. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And if you're going to be at SEMA, me too. Let me know, and let's definitely meet up. If it's nothing more, just shake hands and put a face to the name. I will be there for 2 days at least. So, all right, guys, let me know if you're going to be at SEMA. If you are, I'll see you there. I'm going to be recording a ton of episodes and content. So, all right, see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Oh, one last thing I want to talk about, the detailer inner circle. Guys, we are seeing amazing results. I need to start capturing some of these testimonials that are coming in. And we're also planning, we just started planning a couple nights ago for a detailer inner circle dinner at Mobile Tech Expo. So this will be a dinner specifically for those that are in the inner circle at that time. So if you're even considering joining the inner circle, I would hop on over to detailerinnercircle.com, or what we're doing currently right now is giving away a 1-year subscription to the Detailer Inner Circle. So if you're interested in getting the Detailer Inner Circle completely free for 1 year, here's where you got to go. wearedetailers.com. wearedetailers.com. No spaces, dashes, periods, hyphens, nothing. wearedetailers.com. You can enter the giveaway to win the Detailer Inner Circle for 1 year. If you're already in the Inner Circle, you can still win this giveaway. So there's going to be one winner. We're going to be doing the giveaway in about a month. So if you want to enter the giveaway, do that. You get, again, 12 months of the Inner Circle for free. You're going to get 2 months of web hosting and design for free. You're going to get the Detailer Marketing Bootcamp for free. You're going to get the 5-day cash machine training for free. The Detailing for Profits, that's the 6-week training for free. Facebook ads for detailers, Google ads for detailers. And we do 2 monthly Q&A mastermind calls. And you can win all that for free. You can get all of it at detailerinnercircle.com if you want to join. I'm really, really becoming passionate about this inner circle and really value everyone in it as they value the group. So 2 things to look for. Mobile Tech's not till the beginning of the year, but still, we're going to be doing a Detailer Inner Circle dinner. So really looking forward to connecting with everyone there. And hopefully we have a few hundred people at that dinner. Or maybe not. I'm not quite sure yet, considering I'll be picking up the tab. So I will see you guys at SEMA. I'll see you at Mobile Tech. And I'm really going to be trying to get out there to more shows this year and really putting faces behind the names that write in. So as you can see, I'm a little long-winded. I sat down. I thought 20 minutes would be good, and we've almost gone 45. So I'll catch you guys on next week's episode. Thanks for listening.